My friends, for what appears to be a brief moment in our very troubled times, there seems to be a moment where some degree of not common sense, but a common sense approach, or something that would be indicative of common sense, seems to be the case involving the Supreme Court today. That ruled, and thank God for that, by declining to block a state law that would allow officials in Texas to arrest and deport illegal aliens who entered the state illegally. Now, let me tell you how the New York Times says this. The New York Times says the justices declined to block a state law that would allow officials to arrest and deport migrants who entered the state without authorization. It's called a sovereign burglar. It's almost a version of I guess, squatting. Now, the decision by this Supreme Court today to allow Texas to enforce what amounts to a new law allowing them, the police, to arrest illegal aliens who cross into the state illegally, prompted, according to many people, some degree of uncertainty along Mexico, as it remained unclear when Texas would begin putting the law into effect. Let me give you this update, and you, as a very, very smart person, can join me in saying, I don't care how you do it. I don't care what I don't care. Finally, something. There appears to be, and the very fact that I have to explain that Texas, now here's the best part, that Texas can arrest illegal aliens. Let me say that again. Illegal aliens. You're going to love this. You are going to wait until you see, and by the way, 6-3, the liberal bloc is saying, we feel that the federal government has the authority, has the sole jurisdiction to handle this type of behavior. When we say, but they're not doing anything. They are not doing anything. Let's assume that the Japanese, again, were storming the beaches. I don't know why they would do this, but pick the country. Russia. Let me ask that. Let's assume that Donald Trump were the president and Russia decides to invade, I don't know what, Cleveland. And of course, they hate Russia. Do you think this would apply if we say, wait a minute, the state of Ohio cannot declare war against a foreign country? Only the federal government can. But you're not doing it. What was that again? You're not doing it. See, you're right about that. You're right. The federal government has a right, but you're not doing it. So we in the state of Texas are being absolutely overwhelmed. This is in effect war when you do nothing. Do you hear this? And let me tell you what they're worried about. You ready for this? Racial profiling. People wading across rivers, coming across in the middle of the night with coyotes, and they're talking about racial profiling. So sit back for a moment. Please subscribe to this channel. We have a lot to discuss, ladies and gentlemen. Please make sure you hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And do what we want you to do every time, and listen very, very carefully right now to this very, very critical and important message from our great sponsor. Well, it's time yet again to hail and salute our great friends at mypillow.com. And if you use promo code Lionel, you get a free gift. No purchase necessary. I know, a free gift. Gifts are free. Okay, it's a tautology, so sue me. But listen to me and listen carefully. What are we talking about here? down comforters, flannel sheets, Giza Dream bed sheets, My Pillow 2.0 body pillows, waffle blankets, couch and recliner pillows, sheets, slippers, percales. I'm not even done yet. Towels, quilts, bedspreads, mattresses, mattress covers, mattress toppers, linens, kitchen towels, bathrobes, pet blankets, bolster pillows, name it. Items to help you luxuriate and relax. And their monster sellers, slippers, my slippers, slip-ons, moccasins. Think about it. What do they do at My Pillow? What's their main goal? To make things real soft, plush, real comfy, or comfy as I say it. How perfect. So here's the link right now. Go to mypillow.com/Lionel. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel or /Lionel, or call 800-645-4965. 800-645-4965. And watch how fast our good friend Mike Lindell answers the phone. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel, simply and absolutely the best. The sovereign United States, we are under attack. We are at war. We are in the middle of a war against and at the behest and at the instruction of a group of people that represents the shadow government, the ruling class, the deep state, whatever you call these people, that want to destroy us. And when you have Sotomayor and Kagan and Ketanji Brown, you know that it is the usual suspects. And if there's one thing, let us all bow our heads and thank the good Lord and the good Trump for giving us 6 rock solid, young, absolute, rational time. They're going to make some time. They may not be to your liking at all times. But when it comes to this, we are under attack. Now, let me ask you, ladies and gentlemen, is racial profiling legal? Yes or no? Is racial profiling legal? Yes or no? What is it, dear friends? Anybody? Can you understand? Is it legal? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, yes, no, no, yes, no, no, yes, 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 no. Okay. Is police brutality legal? Well, brutality? Yeah. Well, does brutality imply unwarranted? Is racial profiling warranted? The American Civil Liberties Union defines racial profiling as a discriminatory practice by law enforcement officials of targeting individuals for suspicion of crime based on the individual's race, ethnicity, religion, or national origin. Criminal profiling, generally is practiced by police, is reliance on a group of characteristics they believe to be associated with crime. Examples of racial profiling are the use of race to determine which drivers to stop for minor traffic violations. Let me go back to you. Is racial profiling against the law? Is it wrong? Is it unconstitutional? Well, if it ever existed, yeah. Does it exist? No. I mean, it has. Oh, I'll tell you what, when black folks are pulled over by the police for license and registration, you're not even speeding. Driving while black, absolutely in violation of the Constitution. Absolutely. And you can contest the validity of the stop under Terry or a variety of of cases, Terry against Ohio and others, determining what this is. But let me ask you a question. All right, dear friends, you and I in a little toy shop buy a bag of balloons with the money we've got. You and I are looking out, and we are in drones. We are part of the Border Patrol. What are we looking for? What are we looking for? We're out to look for illegals, illegal aliens entering our country. What are we looking for? Tell me. Are we looking for? Can you describe what we're looking for? Anybody? What are we looking for? Are we looking for Swedes? Are we looking for? What are we looking for? Do we have any idea of what we're looking for? We're standing there, we're looking, and we're at the border. What are we looking for? What are we? Who? Oh, there's some people. There's some people. They're in a boat, Sarge. They're in a boat. They're being whisked across by, I think, a coyote. I love saying that. And they're being, I think, what is their race? What is their race? What is their race? They're Caucasian. Hispanic, whatever, it's not a race. They're Caucasian. They look like they're from South America. It's kind of where that's from, or from Mexico, but I don't know. We've got a few there too who are, I guess, I don't know where they're from. They look like they're African in origin. Negroid, Caucasoid, Mongoloid. I don't see any Mongoloids. I don't see any. Okay. Now, if somebody said to you, listen, do me a favor. Let the black ones go, but stop the ones that look Mexican. Is that against the law? Yes or no? Is that against the law? Sure. Why? I can pick anybody I want to arrest. Biden doesn't pick it. I can pick anybody, but I'm not stopping them. They're breaking in. We're not on the New Jersey Turnpike. We're not on I-275. I'm not pulling people over willy-nilly. They're coming over here. I'm on the border. Here they come. What is this bullshit called racial profiling? What do you call it? What are you talking about? I'm not pulling them over. They're crossing the border. Do you understand that? Does that make sense to you? Any questions? What the hell does racial profiling have to do with any of these? They're crossing the border. Here's a picture of them. Look. I don't go over to people's houses. I don't go to Nogales or to Brownsville and just bother people and just say, "Hey, are you a Mexican?" Yeah, well, no, I'm at the border. Here they come with condoms and rape trees and bracelets. They toss them aside. What is this? What is your racial profiling? What is racial profiling? Let me ask you something. If you're out as you were in the old days, in Miami, as people say, we used to have this thing called the drug courier profile. You know what that was? You know what the drug courier profile was? You could be in an airport, TIA or Miami or Orlando or whatever it was, and you're part of this and you're waiting, and you have you get the word. You say, listen, there's a guy coming in. He's a guy coming in from Miami, or is a guy coming in from Mexico? Is a guy coming, whatever he has. He's a single man. He has no luggage. He speaks Spanish. He looks like he's Colombian. He has no paid. This is the old days when they knew this. Paid for his ticket in cash. Has no luggage. Now stop right there. Does that mean anything to you? You're trying to stop drugs. You know who these people are. You know who they are. They're not Swedes. They look just like that guy. And you're not going over to hey, stop that guy over there. But he's with his family. Hey, he's a Spanish guy. Stop him. You're not doing that. You're going over and you're saying stop this person because this person happens to fit our profile. Supreme Court upheld it. Just to stop somebody. You don't arrest somebody. You don't throw them in prison, but it gives you probable cause to stop. That's exactly what you're doing. That's precisely what you're doing. Do you understand this? Anybody got a problem with this? Is that illegal? No, it's not illegal. How about this? You friends, you folks have, do you like to watch these mafia? Michael Franzese. I think Mikey Scars de Leonardo is the best, probably the smartest guy on the internet. Probably I think he's probably the smartest one. You can listen to him and you can talk to him, and there's just a lot. There's so many people: John Alite and Borello and Panisi and all these, and Sammy the Bull and Fat Andy's son. Fascinating. Okay, now let's say you and I are working. We're in the mob. We're trying to find organized crime. What are we looking for? We're trying to find the mafia. What are we looking for? Swedes? No. We're looking for Italians. We're talking about guys named Iannuzzo, Cologero, Svizzino, and that sort of thing. We're looking for Italian guys, specifically, preferably Sicilians, Siciliano. That's what we're looking for. Do we hate them? No. Are we being unfair? No. That's what we're looking for. And we're going to stop them. Not stop everybody who's Italian, but we're going to be looking for them. We're not going to be looking for Swedes. It's that simple. But leave it to the liberal trio to come up with this stuff. We are under attack. Let me tell you something. I am not one of these people. I am not one of these people who loves to talk about, blowing people up and using the military. But let me ask you this question. If I told you, hey, listen, every now and then you hear this, do not backpack around North Korea. They will shoot you. What? If you cross, I'm not even sure if it's true, but let's assume I told you this. If you cross this particular area, they will shoot you. Would that surprise you? No. Would that surprise you? No. Would you say, hey, he can't do that? Hey, Kim Jong mentally ill, you can't do that. Screw you, buddy. I'm backpacking. And if I happen to traipse across your border, shut up, fatso. No, you're going to say, don't do it. Now, let me ask you a question. Let's assume, for the sake of argument, I know this is terrible. And I know this sounds terrible, but hear me out hypothetically. What happens if there was a drone contingent that opened fire on people coming into, I know this sounds crazy, who opened fire on people coming in, crossing the Rio Grande, wherever the hell it is, from Mexico, crossing there, not crossing at borders, not crossing, where you're supposed to, but just coming in from whatever. Do you think the government it would be far-fetched for the government, any government, to say they're breaking into this is basically sovereignty burglary, a sovereignty open fire. Do you see any, I'm believe me, I'm not trying to be one of these people. I'm asking you a question. Do you really see anything? Could there be a mistake? Could there be a mistake where somebody says, these poor people are out there lost. You opened fire on a bunch of Swedes. They were out one night. They were drunk. Next thing you know, they're in Tijuana, not Tijuana, Tijuana, T-I-J, not T-I-A-J-U-A-N. What is the matter with us? Where do we go wrong? We've got this. This is the most stupid. I can't believe I'm even asking this question. What are we doing? Why is there even an election? What is the matter with you? Sotomayor, are you out of your mind? If you own rental property and all of a sudden you were overwhelmed with Mexicans or Venezuelans or Nicaraguans or Guatemalans or whatever, or people from Africa or wherever, do you really, honestly, seriously, are you looking at me? Do you really believe, that you would say, hey, that's just wrong. That's a federal government thing. You can't do that. Are you shitting me? Seriously. What happened to our country? I'm disgusted. I can't I cannot understand. And I also want to say something, and I hope to all my Jewish brothers and sisters and my Palestinian brothers and sisters, and I mean this sincerely. I don't give a rat's ass about anything that's going on in the Middle East until I get my country squared away. I know that may seem a bit rough, and I know that might be a bit mean, but I'm really tired of people talking about Palestinian or Israeli or Zionist borders and territory and land and who was there first and who owns it and who has sovereignty and who's a settler and who's trespassing. Excuse me. Excuse me. Pardon me if I beg off just for a minute. I'm going to bow out of this. I'm over here. I'm worried about my country. You have no idea the people that we're talking about. And when you talk about people, when you talk about criminals, you have no idea the level of criminals that we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, Big John enters the show. Big John says, would this ruling apply to South Carolina if the state decided to deport illegals? You know, John, your name may be Big John, but you ask a good question. There is something that deals with, and I'm no expert on this, but from my cursory, perfunctory, and brief, casual drive-by, double parked kind of reading of the statutes, I believe that there is something which prohibits, or which deals with, for example, you can arrest people from contiguous states, but if somebody, let's say, is from Venezuela or France, do you have to send them back? So there's a lot of questions about this. What do you do with them? You arrest them and do what? What do you do? What do you do? Do you want to build more prisons? Okay. Do you want to build prisons? Do you want to? I guarantee you. Do you have any of those Amazon warehouses in your neck of the woods? We have these warehouses that are just incredible. There are places with a lot of open land. If people said, "Listen, Pedro, yeah, do me a favor. I don't know about you, but are you planning on going into the U.S.?" Yeah, I wouldn't think about that. Why? Well, first of all, they arrest your ass, and remember Jose? Yeah, he's doing 25 years, 20, and they mean it. They're not sending you back. They're keeping you there. They're not rewarding you. They're not saying, Can I ask you a question? Seriously, do you know any time where we go, hey, except in New York, we have no cash bail. Do we say, hey, go back, go back, Did you break into our house? Get out of here, go back. We're going to send you home. What? Do you know anything about that? I don't. I don't know anything about that. Do you know anything about that? I don't know anything about it. I know nothing about it. I have no idea how this even works. None. Why is it that we send them back? I have no idea. I don't understand. Excuse me. We caught you. You're staying here forever. 20 years, 10 years, 5 years. And then we will escort you. But we're not going to send you back. We're not going to say, gotcha. This is not tag, you're it. Can you explain that one to me? And the number one priority with our drone surveillance, you see kids, move right in. Separate kids right away, do DNA, check right away. You're not taking this kid. Sorry. Sorry, Pedro, ain't gonna do it. She's coming with us. He's coming with us. Don't give me this unaccompanied minor business. We know how this thing works. And we're going to make sure that these kids are okay. We're going to check them, give them physicals, check them, check to see if they've been hurt, check to see if they've been abused, check them. Oh, put an end to this immediately. Immediately. You know how this morning we were talking about Italy, Israel. I think our good friend, I think his name is Sparky, said, all you gotta do is pick up the phone, or Brian picks up the phone and tells BB, hey, that's it. No more money. No more money, no more F-15, no more nada, ni cojones, nada. You got it? You got it? You got it. That's it. Okay. It's over with. The first time they do this, they say, do you see what happens? They got a bunch of them. And all of a sudden they show up and there are people there. I promise you. We know. We have my friends, my friends, my friends. We have surveillance of everything. Everything. We are not talking. This is we the worst part about doing this job is telling you the obvious. We have groups of people in this country who are selling out our sovereignty to people. Have you heard about this? I don't know if you have it in your city, but we have these problems with these people called squatters. And they're just, there was a woman who basically tried to confront somebody who was squatting in her $1 million house, and they arrested her. Does this make any sense to you? It's like the people who say, hey, that's Kate. What? That's Kate Middleton. No, it's not. Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. What? No, I'm not. Get these people out of here. You're a racist. That's the federal government's jurisdiction. What are you talking about? Federal government's jurisdiction? What the hell are you talking about? I've had it. Okay? Our country has lost its mind. I'm telling you stuff you already know. Look at what they're doing to Trump. Look at what's going on. Look at this stuff. It is insane. I hate everything. I don't hate you, but I hate everybody. Oh, we live in a country where the people, listen to this, the people in Hollywood care more about somebody saying the wrong thing about, did you say any bad about Israel? Is that little red button? Is that pro-Palestinian? Who are you? They care about that, but nothing about the kids that continue to be and were absolutely just run through meat grinders, destroyed their souls, their spirits by molesters, by not even call it molester is such an old term. I got to watch the language here, but you know what I mean. This I don't understand. I don't understand any of this. I read sports sections of newspapers and I think, who cares about this? Well, that prospect, Brian Cashman, we got a problem. Who cares about this? What do you think? What do you think is going on here? What is going on here? I don't understand it. Let me put it to you this way. Let me see if I can explain this to you. I'm finding out that I was under the impression years ago that when you have a country like ours and you do bad things, okay, to our country, that people stop it. That's what I thought. But this country only cares to go after Russia and now if these were Russians coming in, well, that'd be a different story. Russia and I guess, let me tell you, there was a story that came out today, actually yesterday, and it was a story that came out about the Havana syndrome. Have you heard about this? It was called an AHI, an anomalous health incident, AHI. And it deals with idiopathic symptomatology and these things called persistent postural perceptual dizziness. It's believed to be a psychogenic, sociogenic form of hysteria. People, you'll love this one. Some people suspected it was direct energy warfare weapons, and it was microwaves, and the CIA and others said Ready for this? Listen to this. We have looked at you, at the various individuals. I think given up to 200 grand for people who, for compensation for this Havana syndrome. But we have found no, we have found no, we have found no, what's the word? We have no found, we have no found no neurological, physiological, somatic, or mental illness components to this. Well, who are you again? I'm the CIA. CIA. Yeah, the national. Oh, okay. And we're supposed to believe this? Yes. Nothing to see here. I don't even know what to say about this. First of all, do you believe anything? Do you believe your government? Hell no. How do I know that this wasn't done by our government specific? And they're the ones saying, well, we didn't find any evidence of it because you did this. Why? I don't know why. I can't, I don't know half of the, maybe you wanted to test your materials and your stuff on us. Can you imagine what I would do to somebody? I know I'm changing the subject a little bit, but I find this fascinating. Do you know what would happen if I could somehow focus weapons and beams and lasers, and if I could do this, if I could, do you understand what could happen if I could do this and I could focus this and I could make, for example, oh, I don't know, let's say Trudeau, okay? And I all of a sudden could make him seem irritable, dyspeptic, ill, flatulent. I could go after teams of warriors and soldiers and make them feel ill and dyspeptic and dyspeptic and I could make them depressed and angry by virtue of zeroing in on a part of the brain, the some corpus callosum cingulate, whatever it is. You don't see this as beautiful? And these stupid bastards say, well, nothing to see here. Why? Well, the government checked it out and there's no cognitive or mental health. What if I were to say to you, hey, excuse me. Yeah, listen, I went to your Mr. Bronson. Yes. Mr. Edgeweller. Yes. Well, I've done this. I've checked it out. And you said you come in. Well, you are not pregnant and you don't have tooth decay and you don't have whatever. So have a nice day. Wait a minute. Well, I gave you I clarify. I never. What is the matter with me? Well, Havana's we see no mental health. Well, maybe it didn't leave. Maybe it didn't leave any marks. I have this hot sauce I use. I got this gift set. It is a monster. When I say we put a couple of drops. The other day, poor Mrs. L, I had this in a frying pan and I hit this thing. And I mean, we had to open up windows. Her eyes, this is hot sauce. I mean, it's from Puckered Butt. It's the best. It's the hottest stuff there is. It's off the charts. Okay. If I sat you in and said, all right, tell me where the, whatever it is, tell me where it is. I'm not going to tell you. You're not going to tell me? Okay. All right. Okay. We put this thing in your mouth. You ever see that where you bite down, whatever it is? And I'm going to get a little funnel and I'm going to put, I mean, nothing, maybe, I don't know, a shot glass, an ounce. I'll put an ounce of Reaper X or pepper or excuse me, Pepper X now. That's so off the chart. But I'm going to give you an ounce of this. Pour it down your throat. No water, no nothing. You're going to sit there. You're going to be screaming, sick to your stomach. And when we get done with you, we clean you up and we drop you off at the hospital, and there's nothing. There's no marks, no neurological, there's nothing. You're red, but you're fine. Doesn't hurt you. You're screaming. You wish you died, but you're fine. And I'm not the only one who's thought of hot sauce as a particular form of torture. So what I'm saying is, just because I don't have the results of it, or I don't have any kind of mental, cognitive or some kind of EEG or MRI, doesn't mean you're not sick. You see, you are told repeatedly to just shut up. You're just stupid. They hate you. Same thing with Kate. This picture, I love this picture. This isn't Kate. It's not Kate. and you're not. And the New York Post even says, well, a lot of internet trolls. You're being told that you have no say over the sovereignty of your border. You're being told that you live in a country where there are people in your home, we call them squatters. And if you blow them away like you would any other burglar, you'll be held liable because they're squatters. Excuse me, they're burglars. No, they're squatters. They're crazy. They say they have a lease. And I've got a Nobel Prize, which I didn't win. Do you see what's happening? This is where we are right now. You're living in a world right now where people are constantly telling you, repeatedly, that you have no idea of what's going on. And nobody's listening to you. Stand by for a second, my friend. Let me really scare you. Let's talk about a very serious subject, emergency food. That's right, emergency food. Now, I know at first blush it's difficult for most people to think about something that they just take for granted, ever reaching, emergency status. We're used to stores always being open, deliveries always made, no supply chain disasters, no ransomware catastrophes, shutting down gas stations, no trucking strikes, no war, no protests from farmers, no mysterious Chinese weather balloons, nothing catastrophic in terms of weather. Well, that can't happen to us, right? And I understand it's a defense mechanism that we have because the idea of ever not being able to eat or locate food is seemingly incomprehensible to most people. But think about this. It's not. That's why it's time for you to go to my site, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com has the deal of deals for you. Take it as a starter set, an introduction set. You've been putting off emergency food for too long. Some people still have a thing about prepping as though prepping for emergency is foolish. Now, right now, you can save $200 on a 3-month emergency supply kit. This is unbelievable. 22 varieties with a 25-year shelf life, 25 years, 2,000 calories a day in 6 rugged buckets, 120 pounds of food. Could you go 3 months, 90 days if stores closed? Be honest. Could you go a week without any trips to the store? I don't think so. I'm not talking about having stuff in your cabinet. I'm not talking about banana chips and jerky. I'm talking about food, real food. So go right now to preparewithlionel.com. This moment right now, preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. Go now and thank me later. Sometimes, let me ask you something. Do you ever feel like giving up? Seriously, do you ever feel like giving up? Anybody? Do you ever feel like saying, I don't care anymore? Nobody listens to me. I don't care. I'm not going to vote. I don't care. No, be honest with me. Anybody? What's keeping you? Why shouldn't you just say, I'm not, this is too frustrating. Every night you're working me up. Every morning you're working me up. You got this. I got kids and the molesting. I'm so sick of they don't listen to me. I've had it. Leave me alone. Do you ever think about that? Come on. Do you ever think about that? If you did, what are you going to do about it? I'm out here every day slugging away, making everybody just be sounding the alarm. I'm just telling everybody, here's another thing, folks. Here's another thing. Here. And if you're done with me, Mrs. L's got, and she'll talk about it, and we'll give you an endless litany of this. They're doing this, then they're doing that, and they're doing this. And I wonder sometimes, what the hell am I doing? Is anybody paying attention? Is anybody paying attention? I don't know. We've got a great event coming up. When is it? At the Thursday, April the 4th at the Metropolitan Republican Club, East 81st, 83rd Street. We're going to have an event. Mrs. L will be there, and I will be in a kind of a fireside chat, so to speak, with Dick Morris to bring to you and attention people who are really, really, really interested. So much so that people have to, people have to say, all right, that's enough. That's enough. I love that. That's enough. Okay, no, you asked your question. No, please sit down. I love this because they're fired up. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What do you do? What are you going to do? Tell me your plan. You're just going to be pissed off? Do you tell anybody? Do you have a social media platform? What do you do? Tell me what you do. Tell me what you do. And I'm not, and that's not that's not meant to be you know. I was watching somebody today on my YouTube. Candace Owens apparently is being accused of being anti-Semitic. She was almost some rabbi or something, and what she said was like, "That's not anti-Semitic. Look, if you don't like Candace Owens, that's fine, but leave her alone. I mean, so what? I'm not a big fan, but oh, for God's sakes, stop it." See, we have to stand up for people that we may not necessarily care for, but who are doing something, and they have the right to say what they want. Edge Dweller, he goes by the name Edge Dweller, says, "We are walking with you, Lionel, because we choose to, as you choose to walk with us also." Indeed. I thank you for that. I want everybody out there. I want this to be a chance for you to be reminded that no, you're not losing your mind. No, you're not losing your mind. And no, how do we say this? We are not, some things that sometimes the hardest things is the hardest thing is to explain the obvious. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. I don't understand. Sometimes I thought if it was kids, number one priority, everybody would stop what they're doing and you're just dead meat, right? That's what I thought. I thought kids are not, then I realized not even close. Nobody cares about kids. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about it. Nothing. That still blows my mind. Nobody cares about it. None. Americans really don't care about things. We don't, not you, by the way, because you're here, of course, but there are people who just don't care. They don't care, and they don't care because they kind of feel like, well, what are you going to do? What am I supposed to do? I don't know. I'm just like, whatever. People are just beaten down. It's almost like learned helplessness. You've been told for so long, nobody cares what you think. Nobody cares what you think. Nobody cares what shut up and just go. Just go home. Go away. Go away. That's the thing. Just go away. That's what they want you to say. It's what they want you to feel. It's the most incredible thing in the world. Willie Will, thank you so much. Dear friend, thank you. Sir or madam, I do not know. I believe Willie will be a man, but one does not know. Thank you for that. I have this idea where if somebody says, "What do you do?" Willie, if they ask me, "What do you do?" I say, "I'll tell you what I do. I piss people off." And I tell people things about stuff where they say, "I didn't know that." And I don't give up. And I circle back. The number one fear you should have is artificial intelligence. That's nobody even remotely understand this. I also have this thing where I want to be able to tell you, I want you to be able to know, how do I say this? I want you to know the psychological reasons for this. Edie Crowley brought it this morning. She said about cognitive dissonance. And there's some things that explain kind of sort of the way we think. And what happens is there is a thing that you have to do as an American. You have to maintain your sense of not losing your mind. and you have a series of defense mechanisms. You have a series of defense. Steph Cam, thank you so much. Steph Cam, I believe that is your. I wish I could blow these thumbnails up, but I cannot. Thank you for your kindness. Sincerely. It's very, very nice. Very, very. This week, what Mrs. Eldon and I are going to do is we're going to be dealing with, she'll tell you about this. We do this because we just do it. We don't make any money off of this. And there's something about Dick Morris. I kind of lost track of him for a while back. I thought, okay, Dick Morris, the Clintons. He absolutely, would you agree, honey? He probably has been more interested in issues involving getting the government involved with child predation, trafficking, and the like than anybody I've seen. Anybody. He is. I can't believe it. I went to an event one night where I told him, I said, okay, I'm going to tell you some things that you should. I talked about everything, geoengineering, which they knew nothing about. Hydro-imperialism. I said, what do you think the reason why we killed Gaddafi? Because we're talking about Gaddafi sometimes. One of the reasons why people forget is that at the moment, Gaddafi was critical because he was sitting on and had planned to, now think about this, had planned to make Libya arable. He was sitting on the Nubian sandstone aquifer, still is the largest aquifer probably in that particular part of the world. And what he did was basically announce this to the world. They loved him there. We killed him. We killed him as sure as you were sitting here. We killed him. So, by the way, before you get too upset with Bibi Netanyahu, I know what's going on in Gaza is horrific. We kill people and have killed more people throughout history than anybody. Okay? We do this. We also talk a good game about how we're Christians and we love Jesus and all that kind of stuff. But I told people about water. I said, let me explain to you. I said, you don't know what's going to happen. Do you think that you're just blessed? Do you think that you can do desalination? Do you really believe, honestly? Does anybody talk to you about that? No, not at all. How about AI? How about one of these days somebody says, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take your worst. You know how every now and then they'll say, well, they broke into, they stole all the online information. Thank you, Gloria. Tremendously kind of you. Thank you. Or they said they went in and they took all the credit card information and all the stuff of, I don't know, Hulu or something or whatever. And oh my God, what are we supposed to do? Well, they took your information. Imagine there was an 800-pound gorilla with a 300 IQ that decides that it wants to do something and it constantly makes new versions of it. It's called recursive self-improvement. Do you have any idea of how scary that is? Do you have any earthly idea of how frightening that is? Well, my friends, I'm going to have to leave you. Mrs. L has a very, very critical. She, by the way, is planning because she and her colleagues are going to spend the day tomorrow in the New York State Capitol, going from legislator to legislator, spreading the word to protect children. That means getting up and 6 o'clock all day long, going to Albany, going out, begging, having to beg people to do the right thing. So that's where we are tomorrow. So she has a very, not that this is unimportant, don't get me wrong, but she's constantly working on this, constantly. While everybody else is just sitting around, she puts her money where their mouth. That's why I love her and respect her. Gloria Taruk, thank you so much. Steph Cam, thank you. Willie Will, Inexplicable, Imain is my gratitude to you. Thank you. Edge Dweller and Big John as well. Thank you so much. We will see each other tomorrow at 8 a.m. Later, remember, if you are a Lionel member, you get my information, my stuff first, my videos and the like. All right, we love you again. Thank you for your kindness. See you tomorrow, 8 a.m. And don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.